All those one yard pieces of fabric that you have in your shop or in your house that you don't know what to do with them. Oh yeah, come. Let me teach you how to make this beautiful pleated neck kimono top with just 1 yard of thick chiffon. You can use any lightweight fabric. Hello everyone, my name is Esther Clara. Welcome back to my channel where I share detailed cutting and sewing tutorial every Tuesday. If this sounds interesting to you, then go ahead and tap on the subscribe button so you don't get to miss any of my latest sewing tips and tricks. Without further ado, let's jump into class. Okay guys, so these are my sewing tools, my tape rule, my ruler, my chalk, and the fabric that I'm going to be using. Like I said earlier, is just 1 yard of thick chiffon. So I'm going to fold the fabric now. This is a very simple tutorial. Just follow me. I folded my fabric into two, and if you look, I marked 3 inches from that center front. I marked 3 inches. So just mark that 3 inches and draw the line. We are going to use it as our pleat. Don't forget, the center front is on fold. We are cutting the front first. We are marking the front first. So I mark a starting point line of 1 inch at the starting point. So all my measurement is going to start from that 3 inches. The 3 inches there is for our pleat. Now I'm marking my blouse length. My blouse length is 19 inches and I added ½ inch for joining the band. You know, we are going to add like 3 inches band that will put elastic. So the next thing I'll mark is my shoulder. My shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Then from that 7 inches, I'll mark my sleeve length. So the sleeve length I'm using for this tutorial is 11 inches. 11 inches. So I've marked the 11 inches there. First, I marked 7 inches, which is my shoulder divided by 2. Then I marked 11 inches for my sleeve. So on that point where I mark my shoulder, I'm going to go down by my shoulder slope, which is 1 inch. And I'm going to mark my neckline. The neckline I'm going to use is the basic neckline 3x3. 3x3 basic neckline. That's what I'm going to use. And I'm also going to mark my back here. I'm just going to mark my back here too. So I'll mark my back neckline, which is 1 inch. The depth of my back neckline is 1 inch. So I'm just going to connect all these lines. So I'm connecting the front neckline first, which is the 3x3. That's what I'm connecting. Then I'll connect the back neckline, which is 3x1. The depth for the back is 1 inch. So you see, I've connected it. I'm going to make the line to go across into the 3 inches. That neckline, you see it, I made it to go across. So now I'm going to draw my shoulder slope. From my neckline, I'm going to make sure that my ruler is resting on top of the shoulder slope. Then I'm just going to follow it like that. Can you see it? From my neckline, then the ruler is resting on my shoulder slope of 1 inch. Then I'm just going to go through like that. Just continue the slope like that. Good. So that is my shoulder slope. Now the next thing we'll do is to mark our round sleeve, because I want this top to be, I want the sleeve to be very big. I'm just going to use 10 inches as my round sleeve. 10 inches. So that's the 10 inches I've marked. That will be my round sleeve. Then I'll come to my waistline and I'll mark quarter of my waistline. My waist is 30. 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. Then I'm going to add 2.5 inches again, just for ease, because we are going to put elastic at that waist area. So now I'm going to connect from my sleeve length down to my waist. You see, from my round sleeve down to my waist. Good. So that's what we have done now. Now, for me to have a perfect fit on that my round sleeve area, I'm going to come in on this part by 1.5. You see it? Then I'll connect it back to my shoulder slope. So this slant is going to make our sleeve to sit very well. Good. Now that we have done that, we are set. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the back neckline first. I will cut the shoulder slope, cut everything, but I will not cut the front neckline. I will cut the back neckline so that we can place it on another fabric. So now what I'm doing is I'm adding allowance. I'm adding allowance on the shoulder slope that we are going to use to join both front and back. Then I'm also going to add allowance to the neckline. So I'm going to add ½ inch allowance to that my back neckline before I cut it out. So I'm going to add half inch to the neckline area, just the way I'm doing. So after marking it, we are going to cut out. I'm cutting only the back neckline now. When I use it to cut the back, I'll place another fabric and cut the back. Later, we'll now cut the front neckline so that this one will be for the front. I hope you understand. Okay, so let's cut the back neckline now. So So you see, it is the back neckline I cut. Then I'll cut the shoulder slope, then cut the sides and the sleeve, the round sleeve. Good. So this neckline, this is our front but we are going to use it to cut our back first before we turn it into our front. So I'll place it on another fabric just like this. I'm pinning it down because the fabric is not stable. That is why I'm pinning it. So after pinning, what I'll do is I'll bring another fabric that we're going to use to cut the back. So this is the fabric we'll use to cut the back. And if you notice, I have marked 1/2 inch at the center back there. So that 1/2 inch is going to be used to do the opening. There's going to be an opening at the back so that your head can pass through. So I've marked the 1/2 inch at that part. Then I'm going to place my front over it. The center front is going to start from that 1/2 inch. Just watch the way I'm going to place the front over it. So the front is going to start from that 1/2 inch. That 1/2 inch that I left at the center back. So I'm going to place it nicely like that, and I'm going to just cut out. I'm going to follow the back neckline. You know, we have the back neckline on the front, so I'm just going to follow it. Please, if I'm confusing you, just watch what I'm doing, don't mind me. So I'm just cutting exactly what we have. See it? Just follow. Good. So we have cut the back. So the one underneath now is the back. So I'm going to keep it aside. This is the front. So now we're going to cut the front neckline. So I'm going to add 1/2 inch to the front neckline now. So I'm going to add 1/2 inch to the front neckline. Then this becomes our front. I hope you understand. So this is our front. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to gather the front, the neckline. See, I'm going to notch that 3 inches. You know that 3 inches mark? I'm going to notch it because that's where we are going to gather. I'll notch it at the top and notch it below. Okay, so I'm going to go to my sewing machine. I'm going to draw gathers so that by the time we draw the gathers at that place, our neckline will come back to our normal 3x3 neckline. Do you understand? So let me go and draw gathers. I'll also draw gathers for the back one. So this is the back. I'm going to draw gathers at the center back too, so that it can come back to our original neckline that we want. I hope you understand. Then at this back, I'm going to sew that 1/2 inch, but at the top I'm going to leave 5 inches for the opening. Then I'm going to sew from that place down. I'll sew it down and I'll leave that upper place about 5 inches. I'm going to leave it. That's going to be the opening that will enable your head to pass through. Then I'm going to draw gathers at the neckline. So I've gone ahead to sew that part I asked you to sew. You see it? So I'll press it. Then I'll now top stitch. I'll top stitch on this part where the opening is. So I'll just top stitch. I'll just sew that part just to hold that place down. You see it? I'll go to my machine now and do that. Then I'll also draw the gathers I told you about earlier. I'll draw the gathers at the neckline. Then I'll draw the gathers at the front neckline too. This is the front. I'll also draw gathers there. So let's do that. So guys, I've gone ahead to draw the gathers on the neckline. You see it? So I'm going to just pull it to form the gathers on the neckline. Make sure that when you pull it, you will come back to the original neckline. Do you get? So let me do for the front too. So I'm going to pull it. I'm just going to pull my lines. I'll pull the thread to form the gathers. And when I pull, I'll measure to make sure that that is the neckline I'm looking for. That is the original neckline. I must pull it to the original neckline. Please don't make it be less or more. Just measure it to make sure that you have exactly what you want. For me now, I'm going to be needing 5 inches. It's supposed to be 6, but you know we added sewing allowance, so we need 5 inches, so that by the time we pipe the neck with 1/2 inches, it's going to come back to the 6 inches. I hope you understand. So now I've arranged the neckline, is okay now. So what I will do is I'll place the front over the back, then I will just join my shoulders. I'll join the shoulders. See it? Everything is looking perfect now. So I'll just go to my sewing machine and join the shoulders. Then I'll show you what's next to do. So now I have done that. I have joined the shoulders. Now what I'll do next is to pipe the sleeve, the round sleeve. So I've already weave it, to take note I've weave it. Make sure your work is neat. So I'll just pipe it with 1/2 inch. I'll just fold it in and pipe with 1/2 inch. Then we'll go straight to putting our collar, our neck collar. So for us to get that, I'm going to measure what I have on the neckline. So I'll measure what I have from the center back. I'll just measure around. You can start from anywhere, center back or center front. I'll just measure around. So I have 9 inches. So I'm going to use that 9 inches to cut our collar. So the length of this my collar is 60 inches because we are going to tie the remaining one at the back. So the length is 60 inches while the width is 2.5 inches. Okay, so now what I will do is I will notch the center front. I folded the collar into 2. Then I notch the center front. So from that center front, I'm going to measure that 9 inches that we measured on our dress, on our top. So 9 inches. So at that 9 inches point, I'm going to notch it too. So I'm going to notch that part too. Now I'll go to my sewing machine and I will sew. I will sew from that 9 inches. You see that 9 inches from the center front, 9 inches to the left, 9 inches to the right. I will not sew that part. I'll start sewing from this notch down to the end. Then I'll go to the other side and sew from that 9 inches again down to the end. I will leave that 18 inches. That one that will be in the middle will be 18 inches because 9 on the left, 9 on the right. Then at the tip there, I can just give it a slant, just to give it a fancy look at the tip of the neckband, so that it will not just be square. That's what I did there. So guys, I've gone ahead to sew it. I want to turn it inside out. I want to turn it to the right side now. So we are just turning it to the right side. Turn the other side to the right side. Then I'll go ahead and press it. I'll press it. I'll bring out all the edges, then press it neatly. Then I'll show you how to fix it on your top. So guys, I've pressed it. Now it's time to fix it to our top. So this open edge, at that point, at the end of that joining, at that point there, I'm going to notch it. I'm going to just snip it a little. That at the end of the joining, where the joining starts, at the starting of the joining, I'm going to snip it here. At the other side too, I'm going to snip it, so that we can bring it out, so that when we want to join it to the collar, it will be easy. Do you understand? So on this part too, beginning of the joining, I'm going to notch it. See what I'm doing? Please just zoom in if you can't see it. I'll just snip it out. That 1/2 inch, I'll snip it out so that it will come out, so that when we want to join it, okay, now we want to join it. So I'm starting from the center back. I'm going to place that place that I snipped, that place that I notched. I'm going to place it. You see it? And we are going to sew round. See it? I'm going to sew round. Now to the center back, to the other center back. Good. So I'll sew it round and I'll show you. Now I've sewn it. I sewed it from the back. Oh, you see it? So now I'll bring it to the front, so that our top stitching will be on the front and it will be very neat. So now I'm going to top stitch now at the front. The first one I sewed it from the back, then brought it to forward. Now I'm going to just top stitch round neatly. Please sew it very close to the tip so that it will come out very beautiful. That's what I did for mine. Make sure yours is like this too. So I'll go ahead and top stitch. When you do this, your neckband will come out so perfect and beautiful. So let me go ahead and stitch it, then I'll show you. Wow, you can see how beautiful my neckline is. Look at my neckband sitting so pretty. Yours should be like this. If it's not like this, I will flog you. You know you are my student. I have cane. Just kidding. So I'm going to cut out all the dangling threads. Then we'll go ahead and join the bodies. Our neckline is ready, our neckband is ready. So I'm just going to put them together, right side facing right side, and we'll join by the sides. Now we are going to join by the sides. Okay guys, so I went ahead to join the side. Then I sew gather stitches on the lower part. To gather the lower part, then we'll add our elastic band. So this is the fabric I'm going to be using for my elastic band. Is on fold. I folded it, and unfold is 2.5 inches. That means if I open it, it's going to be 5 inches. And I've marked some lines on it, half inch, to create a casing so that we can pass our elastic inside. So go ahead and sew. I'll go ahead now and sew the lines. So I've sewn the lines. These are the lines. The width of this my band is my waist measurement plus 1 inch. I minus 3 inches from my waist. From that my waist measurement plus 1. I minus 2 to 3 inches to get the length of my elastic. So I'm going to pass my elastic into it now. I didn't pass elastic on the last one below, and the last half inch on top. The top and the bottom, I did not pass elastic. I only pass elastic in the lines in between. So let me pass the elastic quickly and I will show you what next to do. So guys, I've passed the elastic and I joined it together at the end. So now that joining part, I'm going to make it to align with the center back. You know we have a joining at the center back. So I'm going to allow that joining to align with the center back joining. Then I'll just draw it, I'll expand it and sew it round. So guys, this is what we have. This is the final look of my top. Do you like it? Who is going to rock it with me? Just 1 yard. I know you have plenty 1 yard in your wardrobe. Please bring them out. Let's rock this top together. I'll be teaching you many tops. I'll bring out many tops that we can be using our 1 yard to sew. Okay? Hope you have subscribed. Since I've not told you to subscribe, but you should have subscribed now. I'm teaching well now. I did try. Please subscribe. Do well to subscribe. Click on the like button. Biko, just click on the like button and drop a comment. Thank you for joining me on this sewing process. I hope you learned 1 or 2 things. Bye-bye.